everybody, and welcome to the Nerd Rage Gaming Home Store Magic the Gathering Modern Wednesday night local stream right here from beautiful, sunny Buffalo Grove, Illinois. I'm Dom Stryker. That's Jack.
What's up?
And truly, welcome back, everyone. Happy New Year. Happy Magic. This is one of my favorite times of the year because we're kind of waiting. Everyone got a little bit of that holiday money. People maybe buying some new stuff. People trying stuff out. People sometimes get a little restless, not playing for a little while, and they decide to come back and play for a hot second. So, joyous, welcome back. The brand new year, the very first Modern of this entire year. Thank you all so much for joining us. Again, that's Jack. I'm Dominic, and we have brought some of the local slayers and to show you a little bit of fun. Jack, take it away. What are we looking at?
So we're looking at Asmo Food on the side of Sam Brown. This is a deck that was a big thing in Modern before. I think Modern Horizons 3 came out. I remember the days of time. I think it's there's a 2-mana artifact where you can sack 5 of their artifacts to take an extra turn. And Academy Manufacturer plus Cookbook gets you there pretty fast.
Yes, you're talking Time Sieve, which we have seen Sam do work with in the past. And on the right side, you're talking about these flashes from the past. David's playing Grixis, Death's Shadow.
I think the best moment in Death Shadow was definitely Luris and Dress Down. When those cards were together in this deck, it was unstoppable, I would say. I've definitely played many games against Death Shadow where they attack with 2 Death Shadows that aren't that big, flash in a Dress Down, and the game just ends.
And David here with the thoughts. He's showing off the spice I saw in Sam's hand of Kaido.
Oh!
And to talk more on David's deck, one of the big pieces is when Death Shadow kind of first popped up, it was pairing it alongside Teamer Battle Rage, like allowing it to get like this big smack. And as the years gone on, it looks like David's version has adopted this Delirium shell of starting with the DRC that we see in play and having Violent Urge in hand, the 1 mana that can get access to that double striking effect.
It's crazy when your opponent casts a bunch of spells in the Prowess deck, and then they cast a Violent Urge, giving their Slick Shot double strike, and you instantly die.
Right.
But in this deck, it's crazy because sometimes the Death Shadow deals more damage than the Slick Shot.
Right. The hardest part, though, is that David needs to put in all the work. This has been the scariest part about Death Shadow is actively bringing your own life total down, right? Fetch Shock, Thoughtseize to bring your life total because you need to at least be 12 or less because Death Shadow with that 13 power minus your life total, 12 gives you at least a 1-1, right? So everything lower than 12, you're A-okay. And Sam is in a situation where you can have board states where David's going to do so much of the work for you that you don't need to go combo-tastic. You just might need to attack for 4, 5, 6 damage.
And if there ever was a deck that shows the power of 0 and 1 drops, I believe it's Death Shadow. This is one of those decks where, you know, I single-handedly for the longest time had Chalice in my board because of how bad my Death Shadow matchup was.
All right, and we've seen David has so far played 1 mana or pseudo 1 mana using that Dismember with the 2 Phyrexian, which means David's just been firing off spell after spell after spell, and Sam's just kind of watching and waiting.
And we're on turn 3, and David's cast, what is that? Cycling doesn't count, but he's cast 4 spells already, and we're going to Sam's, what is this, 3rd turn?
Right. And David's got 2 active DRCs, a Tameo that's going to get in there for business. Sam's going to get a little Surveil here, but 2-ish cards are already dead, seeing these Oval Chase Daredevils, which are food for the cookbook that the Asmo can find. But if there's no way to discard this Asmo, you're not going to get Asmo, you're not going to get the book, you're not going to move the Daredevils. So if I'm David, I'm looking at Sam's hand, I'm seeing 4 blanks and 1 mystery card.
And this is the beauty of this Death Shadow deck. Death Shadow went down to such a low life total, but Sam, with no way to pressure him, really has no way to capitalize that, and then the life total swing back is just insane. Sam now definitely being on the back foot.
Right. You can imagine if Sam's deck was a burn deck, a zoo deck, even like a Goryo's that could like throw a big chunk of damage, David would be a lot more scared, wouldn't be able to fiddle his life total so much, wouldn't be paying 4 into Dismembers. And instead, we're in a situation where David can just pay it all away, doesn't even have Death Shadow, but is just using those resources.
It looks like in response to a fetch, Sam is saying that he's going to fetch, and then he's going to shortcut. So he wanted to fetch and grab the forest. I believe that's what was grabbed. And we just backed it up. We went, we're going to Besage you and then cast our Asmo because I discarded a card. Besage you discards itself as the cost.
Right.
So then I can shortcut my fetch as well as alongside my Asmo.
Yes. Shortcutting, as long as it's clear between you and an opponent, I recommend as much as possible. The amount of cutting, shuffling that happens back and forth, specifically when you're playing Modern Magic, it's worthwhile to just say, I'm going to do A, B, C, and you need to go grab it out of my deck. Go ahead. Every minute saved is going to look a lot better when you're on turn 3 of time.
You would much rather go as fast as possible and just say, okay, let me explain why we were going so fast to somebody on the sidelines or to your opponent who may have lost track of what's going on. It's really tough when you have so many actions to take and there's so many decision points. The ones we don't have to worry about, like whether or not you should concede, that's another story.
Right, the Violent Urge out of David here, allowing the +1 and then the double striking to take everything down. Sam's draw was another Oval Chase Daredevil, literally just blanks on blanks on blanks. I love we're going to get this overhead view, so depending on how much the players will play along, we literally get to see what's actually being moved between these decks, which I think is worthwhile. So you're going to see Sam looks like looking at some Fatal Pushes, looking at a couple beautiful full art cards. I definitely can tell what they are.
Art's difficult, man.
The thing is I usually own all the full arts, so I can like start remembering them. But I don't know any of the cards Sam's playing, besides these frogs.
I kind of like the fact that he's playing Frog. I haven't seen it before in Asmo Food, but Oval Chase, as we saw, was such a dead card. Being able to just have a way to get it out of your hand and get some value, even if it's just a counter, is huge.
It has the same power as the Cookbook. A free discard outlet. Again, it enables your Asmo. We can see Sam, what looks to be happening is looking at the combo package and possibly taking the combo out, bringing the interaction in, and just junding them out, right? We're doing the old switcheroo.
I love that. I love that, and and I think that it's really interesting when you have this like I play a combo mid range deck, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm more aggro slanted. So I personally love playing against Grixis Death Shadow. However, it's tough when you're like, okay, I have this plan, and I also have this combo package, right? Which one's faster? And in a perfect world, the combo is faster, but really you just need to rely on your mid-range stuff. I believe that's why the Frogs might be pulled to the front. He's really having that debate of, am I going to be all in on trying to win with Asmo and just stopping my opponent from being able to be proactive with creatures at all? Or am I going to say this Frog is going to win me the game by itself, like it so often does in Legacy?
Right. So we have to talk kind of classic Magic theory of someone's the beatdown, someone's the defensive player, right? Grixis Shadow only has 1 speed, which means Sam is going to be forced into being that defensive role, which to me signifies get the combo the heck out of here, get these interactive pieces. The thing that makes Frog so good, like you're saying, is it toes that line. So Sam will maybe take 1 copy out here, which I get, right? It's like you kind of always want maybe a Frog in play, but what he wants much more is getting these Fatal Pushes, getting these more interactive pieces to make sure that he can go the distance, because David will run out of steam, right? We've seen the Death Shadow deck in the past having maybe a Express Federation, maybe some cantripping, but so far we haven't seen any of those pieces out of David. It was just pure aggression and DRC card selection, but no card velocity, no going plus numbers on cards. So Sam might be able to kind of slowly control the game, but that starts here at the sideboarding of making that swap, getting the combo out, getting these interactive pieces in.
And for David, right, you just want to make sure you're hyper-aggressive. You bring in maybe better interaction than the interaction you have main deck, and you just keep going. I think I have a guess of what those alternate cards were. I think that the cards that Sam brought in, besides Push, is Toxic Deluge.
Oh, okay, because I saw David bringing in Surgical Extractions. So getting kind of the most in-depth that we can here, Toxic Deluge makes sense, right? Sam can cash in 3 life for the entirety of David's non-shadow permanents. Now, here's the deal. If this was a completely blind game, Sam maybe doesn't know that they have to play around Death Shadow. Well, right before the match started, David yelled across the room, I'm playing Death Shadow. So that, along with the aggressive use of the life total, even if Sam didn't know initially, kind of tips you off that, hey, we're doing something with a low life total. It's probably Death Shadow. Sam has a Deluge, can use his own life total, but remember it's going to answer everything but a big shadow. So we'll see.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of having Push too, right? Like go back before Push, which is of course a very long time ago.
At this point, right?
Dealing with Death Shadow was a big problem. You could not bolt it if your opponent was able to, fetch shock and response. Sometimes they could literally just counter your bolt with a fetch or some way to pay life.
And I think this is even the era of them playing with mutagenic growth. So without you knowing, they could go down 2 life and actually +4 on power, because it'd be the life from the mutagenic and the just +2 itself. that made it so hard, then they would just Battle Rage kill you on top of that. It's like interacting with Infect, but this has far more interactive pieces to it.
Yeah, we're seeing a Surveil here, and we're going to bin. I think that's an Asmo. I can't quite tell.
Yeah, makes sense, right? If you don't have a way to enable it in hand, you need to get the heck out of here. And this Tameo for David, this is the card that I know Tameo does tons of work, but if we're talking about David needs to really lock in on being that beatdown, if he's looking for more cuts in the future, not a bad option to get this flying no damage dealing creature.
I think this is great in the aggro matchups where it's a good blocker. I think it's good in control matchups where you draw cards, but I think this might be the one spot where it's actually really bad. I agree with you 1,000%.
It's going to put this frog to the test.
I was going to say, what are you going to do? Jump in front of a fog? You basically have a one-mana fog then. I think, would Sam discard 3 cards or 2 cards in order to kill it? Would you discard 2 cards to kill the Tameo? Do you even care?
No. Because David's deck isn't like a go hard all in on Tameo. Tameo is here to kind of support to get you a couple of turns into the game, as opposed to this Tameo being like a fueling engine. I feel like it's just kind of a roadblock, a lightning bolt rod in and of itself. And Tameo, y'all see that promo?
It's so good.
You want to talk about 2026 as the year of the Magic the Gathering, specifically Modern. Promos really kicking it up. We're talking
amazing.
Ocelot Pride, Guide of Souls, Gamma Barman, and Tameo as the PT promo. Like, they're paying attention now.
And Frog was banned in Legacy because it was so strong. Now we're seeing a Frog mirror here in Modern, and this is going to be a staple of this format for a very long time. It's been a staple of this format. It's crazy to watch Legacy go through so many different bans in Reanimator, and for us to come to other formats and just play the same cards and be like, yes, this card's still fine here.
Yeah, I mean, this card is a powerhouse. Both of these copies that these players have in play will most likely define the next X number of turns of this game before one deals with the others. Otherwise, they're going to look at each other's frogs, draw a couple of cards, and slowly watch life totals go down.
Yeah, and this is the tightrope that you walk when you're playing against Grixis Death Shadow. Is you don't want to pump the frog to become gigantic.
The block.
Because of the fact that if you get super aggressive and reduce your opponent's life total down, they get their Death Shadow, as you said earlier, and David's just going to let the frog die.
Yep. So not interested in playing that game, but also not interested in using a card from David's hand to take more cards from Sam.
That makes sense. Sam's already not drawing a card because he got blocked.
Yep.
And on top of that, he's down a card because he pitched. It looks like Sam has 2 different ways to tutor out Asmo. Finale of Devastation can grab a creature with CMC 0 from your graveyard or your library. Most people forget about the graveyard clause. Huge. Also, the Harmonize spell in the graveyard is quadruple green and X Coco, but it has Harmonize.
You mean Chord.
Is that Chord?
So this is Nature's Rhythm, which is the chord, green something, however you want to put it. But it has the additional Harmonize, like you're saying.
Not chord, you're right. My bad. Or not
not Coco,
right?
Not
Coco, my
bad.
bad.
We fall into this trap. Oh, let's define the thing by the other thing. Shoot, there's too many things.
There's too many green cards that grab cards.
No, you're thinking of the battle. No, you're thinking of Green Sun Zenith. No, you're thinking of Court of Calling. No, you're thinking of Goat Napping. No, you're thinking of...
It's tough. It's tough. But yeah, Nature's Rhythm is kind of insane. We're seeing this card make waves in Ouroboros in Standard now. Yep. Being able to grab Crater Hoof if you have 2 or 3 Badger Moles is insane. I saw a Crater Hoof get cast as early as turn 4 in Standard the other day. It was insane.
Here we're seeing David with this interactive Thoughtseize, so allowing a little surveil off the DRC, showing a thing that we knew from a few turns ago. When we got the frog on frog battle, Sam's hand was bad.
Yeah.
It was a lot of lands. Slowly going to work through it by getting this Asmo, getting the cookbooks, starting to put the pieces together. But Sam has nothing else going on besides the top of the deck and attacking with this frog.
And I honestly think that Death Shadow has some of the best interaction because they're playing the Grixis colors. They have blue for counter magic, they have black for discard, and they have red for either aggressive cards that can deal damage quickly or just burn spells to kill your creatures. And when you're playing against Death Shadow, sometimes it feels like they have it all. But the cost is their life.
Right.
Greatness at what cost?
Yeah, using the classic Dark Confidant against them. Sam using oft forgotten gingerbread cabin here in the mana base. If you're familiar with, I don't know, the banned one in Mystic Sanctuary, the totally broken one in Dwarven Mine, here's the green one in gingerbread cabin. If you control 3 or more forests, you make it a food.
And it's decent.
Yeah,
It's not bad.
and importantly, the second food here means Asmo has 2 food to throw at something, allowing the DRC to go down. And now Frog getting through unblocked, uninteracted, little draw for Sam.
And we see a goose drawn there. I believe it's a goose.
So there's the 4 green mana, and there's 4 power from, or I think 3 power
3.
from Asmo.
Yep. So
and
anything 3 CMC or less, straight into play.
if there's a manufacturer still in here,
Oh, I can't imagine he cuts the manufacturers in this
he
matchup.
cut some, right, to
Oh,
remove
that's
parts of
true.
the combo.
That's true.
And the question was what's still left. And now Sam has 2 cards in hand. One gets discarded into the cookbook, makes a card of every type, and then the game is really defined by Sam's remaining card.
If you think about a Academy manufacturer for a second, it's kind of insane that whenever you get a treasure, food, or clue, you get a treasure, clue, or food. So whichever one you need to crack, either the food or the clue, the treasure makes cracking them 1 mana, and it enables your Fatal Push to hit anything on the curve.
Yeah, and Sam discarding the Fatal Push here, so showing kind of the same thought we had from earlier of the Tameo is not the biggest deal, and Sam's final leftover was a goose, making a food, but actually making all of the above, and then feeding the food into Asmo's ability and blowing up the Tameo, and David with nothing left but 2 clues in play.
And we see why Sam might have left a Time Sieve in. I believe it's Time Sieve.
The combo piece, yes.
Yeah, because look, he has 5 artifacts in play. If he untaps and can tap his cookbook, he makes another 5, and that's good enough for David to pick him up.
Yeah, I mean, I think basically staring down lethal because you can toss a card or 2 into the Frog on top of just the general power that is in play.
So we see Stubborn Denial, Consign, and Unholy Heat. Sorry, keep going.
Oh no, in the that David's looking through.
In David's sideboard, yeah.
Right, all of the cheap 1-man interactive pieces, right?
So much.
And then Sam looking at, maybe Mystical Dispute, sure. And this is also that idea of the more you play the matchup, the more you think about things, but then also the difference between being on the play and the draw for someone determines what things Sam does or doesn't care about, right? This was a game that Sam was on the play. This upcoming game is a game Sam's on the draw. So does that change things for Sam? Is that a combo in? Is that combo out?
Yeah, and it's so tough when you play these kinds of decks because they are so fluent between their game plans. And Shadow is just so incredibly focused on what it wants to do.
Yeah, so the important part is, again, we saw Sam also taking responsibility when we said that role of who's going to be the beatdown, who's on the defensive. Sam brought in those reactive pieces and spent the entirety of that game dealing with what David had in play, and when David had nothing left, Sam just gets to win the game. Whereas David's literally going to need to try to smash through for big points of damage. Sam got in such a commanding position that Sam felt able and willing to discard the card Fatal Push, the one they had just boarded in.
And notably, Sam was the one who had the Psychic Frog still around.
Yes, from when the 2 frogs kissed, and David decided, no, that's fine by me, and Sam slowly but surely just ticked through the rest of that game.
When your 2-mana creature is a Phyrexian Arena and it doesn't lose you any life, and it flies, and it gets bigger, and it's
You're right, and is kind of how that card reads. Because the hardest part is you're like, it maybe draws a card, maybe gains flying. It suddenly is a 6-power creature. Oh, it's suddenly a this, suddenly a that. It feeds Sam's engine. Like, there's just so much that's happening.
And now we're seeing the opening hand. I see a Thoughtseize. Now, turn 1 Thoughtseize is powerful. Is this the matchup where you want it?
So if you're David. So it's interesting because the power of the card definitely goes up in this match because a lot of Sam's cards are blanks. Right, it truly is kind of building a machine, but it needs certain places to start from. That I can imagine Thoughtseize being really good to pick those things apart. But what will most likely happen is David will try to use this first turn to establish a DRC and then interact all the turns beyond here. Right, literally playing the Delver game of put my threat into play, do my thing, and then eventually you will die to my turn 1 threat.
And honestly, I think that, like we saw game 1, that is where he wants to be. Getting a Tameo down that doesn't put any pressure on is not good.
Yes. The only thing, and David's not being punished for, is I was debating waiting on the DRC until turn 2 to be able to play the DRC and the Thoughtseize to know that it's sticking around and not play into Fatal Push. But Sam, no current push, literally playing this blue-green tap lane to get the Surveil on, means that there's now a lot of wiggle room for this DRC to take over.
Yeah, and DRC is another card that we've seen all the way back to Legacy, right? Like they played in Delver.
They don't play literal Delver anymore because this card is just bigger, badder, and meaner.
Yeah. When you see a DRC and a Tamio next to each other, and you look back at what they used to play, it's kind of sad. It almost makes Ragavan look good or look bad.
Yeah, and here's a Thoughtseize putting an instant into the yard, and the Thoughtseize itself will be the third type. So David already a single type away from having this DRC's Delirium online. There's actually a Street Wraith in hand to be cycled away. But first and foremost, get to pick apart this hand. But you saw those deluges, but there's actually 2 of them here for Sam.
Insane, absolutely insane. And that's one thing when you're playing against a Delirium opponent, or anybody who's playing aggressive decks in general, you often will underestimate how fast they can accelerate. Like, as somebody who plays aggro, the amount of times where my opponents think that everything's fine, and they give me 1 turn, and that 1 turn is exactly what I need to close the game, we're seeing that here. David is looking at Sam's hand, and he's like, okay, well, I think I might be able to go faster than you might be able to kill me with those deluges.
Yeah, Sam's hand is basically blank, right? Land, manufacture doesn't do anything. Asmo can't currently be cast, and if it is the Toxic Deluge, for David, that currently reads my opponent lightning bolts themselves. Right?
Yes, which is beautiful when you're attacking with a 3/3 flyer every single turn. We're also seeing Claim to Fame, which is an old Hour of Devastation, like amazing split card. Really cool when you're able to go, here's my Death Shadow from my graveyard. It gains +2/+0 in haste. We might see that steal a game here.
Right, so the Claim bringing it back, the Fame then giving it the +2/+0 haste. Really just wombo combo 1-2 punch. This will allow David to ride this DRC until Sam decides to interact and then go again. In this Stubborn Denial, literally Force Spike mode gets to take down this copy of Nature's Rhythm.
Hey, sometimes Mana Tithe, it's a good card.
It happens a lot. The amount of times you're playing against Stubborn Denial decks, whether it's DRC with the Death Shadow package here, or if it's the Zoo decks, there are a lot of times where because Magic is so efficient that you go, oh, I got to play it this turn. If they have it, they have it. And the did you pay 1 more does come up, and we're seeing it come up for David.
Yeah, and notably also Claim to Fame brings back Frog.
Oh, yeah, right. David just has more and more targets now, right? With DRC, having Tamio, having Frogs. You know, if you had a real good turn, you could bring back a Tamio, attack it, and flip it, and call it all a day.
Yeah. It's really cool to see the old cards come back. You know, things that like were once good. This was a Death Shadow tech that was played a long time ago, before before Luris came out, because Hour of Devastation was a long time ago.
Right. It has unfortunately been quite some time since Death Shadow's heyday, but the formula of just hard interaction and 1/1/1/1/1/1/1/1 down the cost of all your cards is allowing David to literally just stay up on tempo all throughout this game.
With 2 lands.
Yep. Because David's good. That means that's 2 spells a turn. That's what these 2 lands mean for David.
And double spelling is pretty good in Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, so I've heard, right? Here's importantly, card getting discarded, Asmo being available.
Now with 1 food, you get a second cookbook. He could theoretically cock that fetch and cast a second cookbook. Do you pitch Deluge?
Well, yeah, because so the important part is I believe Asmo deals 6 damage to the card.
Yes.
Which means Dave would need to do a lot to kill his own Death Shadow, or
as we're seeing.
Here it begins, right? Go up 2 more. Because now it's a game action or 2 away from the Asmo not being able to completely make it eat itself.
And that's really interesting because Sam's playing around his top deck, David's top deck not being a Thoughtseize. If he draws a Thoughtseize and he killed the Death Shadow, then I don't want to say he dies to the Claim to Fame, but he's in a bad spot.
Yeah. Oh, David, there's land now, a lot more life total manipulation available, so depending on who flinches first. But David's going to go into combat, which will most likely force Sam to have to flinch first. Or block with this Asmo, which is definitely also not where Sam wants to be.
And he has the Violent Urge, so if Sam doesn't make a good block here, the game's just over.
Yeah, the important part is Sam can block Shadow, make DRC eat itself, and not be too worried, but that also means things aren't going to get better.
Yeah. And once you lose enough life, Deluge becomes a dead card.
Right, which Sam's noticing we're getting a lot closer to that point. Yep, this is the second food. Now David's going to make him spend the resources.
So 3 damage on the Death Shadow, plus the 6 damage to itself. The question is it enough to kill the Death Shadow if he fetches and shocks? Goes to 5. That's
Yeah, the DRC
8?
is the only thing that can be safely gone after.
yeah. I
And
like
now
not casting the Violent Urge here because he
No,
could have given a
only
double strike.
cast it when it kills, right?
Exactly.
That-
Exactly.
That is the secret to having little cards like that is you are in no rush. Sam has basically nothing going on. Can't even trade the deluge for this Death Shadow because that's paying 5 life into this, which is a lot. And technically, Sam would need to pay 8 because a Fetch Shock would make that number even less attainable. So Sam's going for big money, no whammy here, paying 8.
And he goes to 2. And David says, that's fine. I have claim to fame. I can reanimate
Yep.
my creature and
Literally
give
going
it
to
haste.
claim and fame. You're about to have your prophetic powers pay off.
The Mox Opal Bind.
$100 straight into the bin.
Who needs
Get
it?
it out of here.
And this is, honestly, when I play Vintage Cube, I pass Moxen. I'll take a Black Lotus.
You're wild.
I will pass Ancestral. I'll pass Time Walk. I don't care. I'll pass all the power except for Black Lotus because my opinion is that Mox are literally just lands. Play your turn. Play your turn.
Moxen are Time Walk. You understand?
Yeah, but I'm of the opinion.
My opponent's on turn 1 and I'm on turn 3.
I had Colin. I had my little brother Cole, who's a good Magic player, and
Trust.
And he told me that I couldn't pass Ancestral, and
Yeah,
I was
duh.
like, okay, that's fine. I was gonna take a 3-mana 3/3
No.
with haste Tursa. I was
Nope.
gonna pick pick one Tursa for a creature for my curve
No.
over Ancestral
Here-
because I'm such a huge fan
Claim.
of bodies in Vintage.
Claim. Fame. I'm a big fan of bodies. And claim
To
to fame.
fame!
The prophetic powers of the Hour of Devastation Aftermath card. Locking it in, locking it down. Quite literally allowing David to pressure, force Sam into a situation of a toxic deluge for 8 life paid down to 2. And David's had that claim to fame since turn number 1. Little claim, little fame, little getcha.
Death Shadow is
Oh.
back. Is it back?
I don't know. We'll see as the day goes on. I have a question.
Yeah.
The card viewer that we have, is it Scryfall powered? Like, could we look at Lorwyn cards?
We can look at Lorwyn cards, but I have to go back to the other screen.
That's okay. Yeah,
Sure.
get our face out here.
Yeah.
Don't here.
Look at the
those
look at the
sideways.
legends.
The
I'd much rather-
Rizzler. Yes, Sam with the Kaido ad and the Riddler. What's it? The Squelcher, the Squeecher.
Vexing Squelcher.
It's the Squelcher. Let the boy talk. Put the Squelcher on the screen.
2-mana 2/2. Okay, this is a vintage playable goblin.
It's an insert all form. Okay, wait. Before you explain anything,
Yeah.
I just want to say, my fiance, who doesn't follow Magic, but is the nerdy girl. She's talking with her friends playing D&D, and I get a text that said, "You gotta be kidding me that there's a Magic card called Squelcher." And I go, "You are correct, and it is unfortunately busted." So
It's-
go ahead.
It's insane. The goblins of Lorwyn, they really enjoy sensations. They like to hear weird sounds, taste weird things, insert anything that gives you a sensation. They enjoy it. So this is somebody standing in a bog, squelching around, and
Yep.
2 mana for a 2/2 Grizzly Bear, good card, right? Power crept, not good anymore. But not being able to get countered is huge.
Mhm.
Spells you control can't be countered is huge. If it stopped there, I would love this card. I wanted
Right.
to play Spider Punk in Goblins so bad
Yep, this one's a goblin.
just to have a body that keeps your things from being countered. On top of that, if they try to target your stuff, you have to pay to all your creatures have ward pay to life, other creatures, and this has
And
ward pay
itself.
to life. So the first thing that I thought when I saw this card was I was like, oh my god, a new mono red legend. But somehow it's better. It's not a legend. You can
No.
stack this ability.
Yup.
If you use the new blue instant that makes all non-land
Okay,
permanents
okay,
you control
well,
copies
sure.
of target things, you could have a bajillion of these.
But also just having 2 of these means that
2
every
of these
removal
means
spell
insane.
reads pay for life, right?
You can do so many busted things with this. You
Oh
need
wait, if you play a second one, each one, they both have ward pay
paid
for
for.
life.
Yeah, it's insane. So
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a huge fan of brewing, and my brain immediately goes to bad things to do with this card.
Yes, this
and
card.
this is an example of a bad thing to do with this card.
Well, I mean, people do it in limited, right? Someone will have a blue-red deck at some point. You'll see the arena screenshot.
And so, like, my favorite thing to do, because so many people hate blue decks, I love going Cavern on Goblin and watching my opponent not cry, but, like sink in their chair a little bit. And this gives us 4 Caverns. This card is technically, it's something that you have to
The
cast on
goblin
your turn.
itself, right?
Yeah. And
Because instead of things, it itself can't be countered, right? That's the text, and then cards after it. So it's a call out to Vexing Shusher, which is a card that is like almost made
hybrid,
splashes, right?
it's so good.
So that's where this card gets its Vexing, right, from the initial title. But instead of it being the Shusher, which was the old reference, it's now the
Squelcher, which is hilarious.
Right, which you'll notice carries a lot from this card. The can't be countered, the is a 2/2, and making other things uncounterable. That was kind of the message here, but just wasn't quite powerful enough. Now they're putting it on a monocolored threat and allowing a lot of the same symmetry, but then allowing all of the ward pay-2s. And very importantly, a thing that I think is severely missed when people play with and around cards with ward is when ward triggers and your opponent pays the 2 life, you can then do something still, right? There is then another priority window. So if your opponent goes through the effort and they're like, fatal push that, I'll pay the ward pay 2 life, I'll pay the ward pay 2 life. You're like, okay, well now you've done both of those things, throw it at you. Or hexproof it. It's like, great, you've gone through the effort to make this part even easier for me, and then I just throw it at you anyways.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Oh, judge question.
Does this card work with the ward ability?
No. Because life payment is not damage.
Okay, for sure.
However, if
Oh,
you
this
have,
card's dope.
if you have a Krenko active in standard, right, you can tap 5 goblins to pay this for free, which is insane.
Wait, yes, yeah. It having convoke is truthful whether Krenko made the goblins or not, right?
It's true. It's true. In standard goblins, we're able to attack for 13 on turn 3 with Howl Squad into Krenko with a Painter Studio on 2. So my brain immediately goes to, okay, what works well with Krenko? And this is just a card that you can cast while still tapping out every turn for your on-curve threats. And I'm
Okay.
super excited for Lorwyn.
Yeah, there's tons. Absolutely bonkers stuff. I can't remember what's the name of the blue-green evoke elemental that looks like a nasty dog.
Oh.
Because all
Isn't it the Gruul one?
yes, I would like to see the Gruul one, please.
The Gruul one's Vibrancy, I believe it's...
I could not tell you the card's name, but
No,
Jack.
Vibrance. Here we go.
We're muted.
I muted her I muted you guys so that they wouldn't hear her barking.
Sweet. Are we back?
Yeah, no, we're good.
All right, everybody. Let's talk about Vibrance. Have you seen anyone talking about this yet?
So the way that I look at this is 2 mana for a Lightning Strike. That's playable in standard. It's 2 mana for a better... It's basically Sylvan Scrying that gains
Plus
you
2 life. Yep.
And if you have 5 mana and double red, double green, it doesn't matter what other pip you have, you can literally do both on a 4/4 body, which when you put all those rates together, I think this card's pretty busted.
Totally agree. Now, we'll call it quiz time. Myself and tons of people you know in the local sphere are picking up a single copy of this card for a modern deck. Which modern deck do you think even cares a little about this card?
I don't want to say it's Boros Energy. That would be-
Don't worry, it's not Boros Energy.
Okay,
It's not
okay.
Domain Zoo.
No, my brain would immediately go to like either Titan or I would like because what this reminds me of is Roxanne in Titan. It reminds me of the fact that you can tutor for any land. It tutors for your bounce lands, tutors for your Lotus Field, any Boseiju or Otawara style effect if your opponent has a hate piece in play. And if it needs to kill a creature, it can just kill a creature. Or if you have nothing to do, you just play it, get your value, you dome their face, and you get your best land. Maybe you mirror form it next turn, and
Well,
that's your value plan.
We can't, because remember, specifically with all these evokes, they only will function if you spent mana on
That's
them.
true.
So making copies, making clones, flickering them, thankfully doesn't work,
Thankfully.
right?
Is it Amulet?
It's Titan, 100%.
Yeah.
So the reason being is if you are Magus of the Moon locked, red, kill Magus.
Huge.
If you naturally draw it in the game, it's GG, search for bounce land, right?
And you could pact for it.
Correct.
Oh my
This is a green
God.
creature. So you can Summoner's Pact find Vibrance, pay red off whatever your worst land is, and actually, you know what? I'm going to use the ramp spell first. So you have Magus the Moon in play. I'm going to play my Lotus Field, sacrificing nothing, and then I'm going to tap these 2 lands over here, bop your thing. Whoops, my land's fully turned down alongside all of its brethren. If I draw this later, like you said, you do both things. But if I draw this and my opponent does not have Magus in play, but I need to continue developing my game plan, it's the GG search for a land. So there's kind of always been 0 to 1 cards in the Titan sideboard that can allow you to answer Magus of the Moon while having a creature that does something. Like you said, it's been Roxanne. In the past, it's been Isquith, Son of Gishath.
Oh
okay?
my God.
A card that... Dude, who knows?
ISQUITH?
It was literally red, green, 2/3 haste, ETB, pay 2 colors, make it fight something. So it would fight and survive fighting against Magus of the Moon. But again, you could pact for it. The important part about Vibrance that is going to be slightly different is because it cares about the fact that you've used the mana, you cannot Green Suns for it, right? Because you would not have paid any mana for the card.
Great point.
But you can Summoner's Pact for it. So if, for whatever reason, as Shift is happening, if Boros Energy or a blue-red deck start playing like 1 or 2 Magus of the Moon.
Is that lessons, perhaps?
Yeah, as it just keeps moving back in formats, taking over Pioneer and Standard, it'll get to us eventually. The importance is that this card is fully pactable, deals with Magus, and finds the goods. Like, it kind of does all of the things, and instead of it being Roxanne, where you need to have found your forest and be up to 5 mana, if they shut down my lands, it's literally pay 2 of them, dubs red, kill the thing.
And it's crazy that Titan is the deck that always gets the new cards.
And again, you may never see this card, right?
True.
Because people will look at their sideboard, know that they aren't really dealing with Magus, and not need to put this card in. But the second Magus the Moon ticks up, Boros Energy gets like 20% play rate and plays 2 in the sideboard, you're going to see this card show up, right? That's just kind of the churn of how things go. It's like having Graveyard Hate in your deck or out of your deck based on if you do or don't think you're going to see Dredge that weekend.
Exactly.
This is the same deal, right? Someone could spend a single sideboard slot to make their matchup against Magus the Moon decks skyrocket. So on top of all of that, it's this cute little dog. And the worst part of all is the beautiful, gorgeous full art of this is not a dog.
It's very.
It's just a completely different looking creature.
It's like a hippo.
Yeah,
It's a hippopotamus.
it's not this dog. It's not this homie. Like,
This homie's welcome to all the parties. Bring
Yes.
bring it by.
yeah, bring your flower dog.
We
by.
got treats. We got treats.
We got a dog.
It's a good
Yeah,
puppy.
we have a dog right here. No, and flower collar. We got Vibrance right here in the house. So, check her out. Hey,
Aw.
for you, who's here right now in the in-betweener between match A, match B, round 2, y'all get dog cam. What? Oh, she's fully green screened out. Nope.
Keep going. Whoa!
Look, there's the flower collar. That means it's our own little Vibrance.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna dress her up. It'll
True.
be so cute.
Yeah, dogs love nothing more than being covered in stuff. If I know one thing about dog, they love stuff.
And big shout out to Haviva, the legend, doing the controls.
That's the director.
Oh.
Director, it's me.
All right, y'all. We're gonna take a moment. We're gonna get that same dog outside. Do a little something for the dog and for this dog. So, folks, don't go anywhere. We'll be back ASAP for round number 2 with more modern Magic the Gathering action here from the Nerd Rage Gaming home store. See y'all soon.
Peace.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to round number 2 here of the Wednesday Modern Locals Nerd Rage Gaming Home Store, beautiful Buffalo Grove, Illinois, and we're joining you round number 2 of Modern Magic Action. Oh yeah, this is my favorite game. So we get to do this when folks are
Go ahead, guys.
not submitting deck lists. We get to play a little
Titan
bit
versus
of the game.
Gorios is my guess. Let's see how close we are.
I know you're correct about Titan. So we're seeing Boseiju and a Blox Diamond here in the form of this Arboreal Grazer. And
I saw
Z-
Voice of Victory.
I think Z's playing Blue-White Energy.
That's sick.
Guide Pride, Halia, Solitude, Mockingbird sort of stuff.
So I'm pretty sure the Boros versus Titan matchup is incredibly bad for Boros. Unless you have some
main
really
deck.
good, main deck. Unless you have some really good like interaction, like they used to play Static Prison. Sometimes even that's really bad. But I'm really interested to see what game the Azorius version has versus Titan, because usually Titan does kind of bulldoze these style of decks.
Yeah, because Z, we can see Ephemerate, which leads me into, looks like we might be looking with a total kind of a Bant flickery package here, right? Starting with an Ocelot Pride into a Voice of Victory sort of style, but having that Ephemerate and other flicker to go with warp cards, right? So we've seen Z in the past have cards like Starlight Shepherd, I believe it is.
Yep.
That fetches
Starfield.
Starfield, that fetches out planes and 1-drops, as well as probably the Riddler.
Riddler is an amazing card. Another card we're seeing make waves all the way back here to Modern, sometimes even to Legacy and Fringe play.
Oh, is it Titan time?
I think it's Titan time.
Oh. Now, very importantly, Zvi has Solitude White card, but to play Voice of Victory, tapped down on having access to the Ephemerate in him. So Justin gets to use this Scape Shift here, floating 1 mana, but searching out 4 lands. This is a super ritual while also putting cards into the yard. So everyone buckle in, time to play along at home. Very importantly is the Spelunking, allowing these lands to enter play untapped.
And usually the best thing about Scape Shift with either Splunking or Amulet out is you get to not only grab your Lotus Fields and have a bunch of mana, but you also can grab a Bounce Land and a Teleria West to immediately grab another Titan.
Yeah, I believe Justin's got a little bit of setup work to do here, so we'll start.
And I believe he's already won. He makes a bunch of mana. He's able. He's gonna be able. He's gonna be able to channel his Teleria West to grab a Summoner's Pact. Summoner's Pact for Titan. He has 6 mana right there with the Lotus Fields.
Yeah, I believe Justin is going to start demonstrating a loop because the Summoner's Pack's going to get the Aftermath Analyst. The Shifting Woodland's already in the yards. He sees the writing on the wall, and we're donezo, gonzo.
And see, this is the power of playing
Game 1.
Titan. Of course, game 1. You have this edge. And the one thing I would do if I was Svi is I would say, just show me your hand. If
Whoa.
like after like if you're telling me that the game is going to end, you're going to do all these
Yep,
things.
Yep. So he's about to bring in his whole sideboard.
Yeah, literally. You have the ability to just be like, okay, well, if I'm being truthful and I don't have like my prime times in my hand, then it's just, everything goes to your hand.
Yep.
But I think that it's one of those things where like I want to make sure that my opponent doesn't have the mirror pool is it mirror pool? The one that allows you to copy a creature.
Yes, that's Mirror Pool.
Mirror pool can't be in your hand. There's certain lands, there's certain key pieces that they can't just have stuck in their hand. And once you get to the point where you know those aren't in their hand, you can safely
Well, it
concede.
even could be in hand because the Teleria West becomes your second Summoner's Pack, which gets you a Boreal Graze, which takes it out of your hand.
Oh, that's a great point.
Titan stuff. But Z, we see bringing in Orum's Chance, bringing Consigned to Memory, possibly bringing White Orchid Phantoms, bringing Elish Nor, Mother of Machines. This is what I'm talking about. Where like Titan gets a lot pre-board. Post-board, a lot of the heavy-hitting sideboard cards like Consign, you can bully a Titan player with some well-placed Consign to Memories. And Z does have the engine, the early aggression that comes from the white 1-drops and the 2-drops in this format that can allow just put a threat into play, interact a couple of times because your opponent will die before they know it.
And I absolutely love it when you're playing against a combo deck and then you lose like Svi did. He was like, you know what? I'm going to, even if you don't have the perfect complete win this turn, I'm still going to be dead the following turn.
Yeah, save some time.
I'm just going to concede, and then I'm going to go out to work on this puzzle, which is sideboarding.
Yeah, and we also saw Haywire Might, so, it's a one of. Well, remember that if there's these Starfield Shepherds, that means this card goes from a 1 of to maybe being a 5 of, right? And it being searchable, tutorable off that, and allowing you to either answer a Spelunking or to answer a Saga or to answer an Amulet. Allows tons of options out of your 1-drop creature, so easy slotting alongside all those other interactive pieces. And Justin probably brought in Fire Spouts and like a stock up. It's literally just like, let me kill the board and let me get some cards because this game's going to go a little longer.
I saw 3 fire magic. That's like that. You're
Pick
right.
your sweeper, right?
You're dead on. And it's so good. Standard all the way back.
Yeah, it's kind of the big sticking point is, does your Titan Sweeper want to deal 3 damage because there you want to deal with some of the slightly bigger pieces, or do you want the instant speed advantage of using Fire Magic and having the option for literally the 1 mana version, which cleans up Ocelot Prides and stuff? So Fire Magic is the one that's more targeted at taking down Boros. Something like a Fire Spouts is more specific if you're dealing with bigger and badder creatures.
And this is the beautiful thing about playing a deck like Titan is you have such easy wins that you really don't really have to stress too much about what you're doing. Like you see Justin not flustered at all.
You do all the stress before learning the deck, reading the Bible, getting the full understanding. Once you know, written by Dom Harvey.
Shout out to the legend.
This is it just keeps getting bigger too. More and more to read and figure out. And we haven't seen it out of Justin. I've been seeing versions of Titan with Badger Mocha.
Yeah.
Because why not? And this deck's kind of had a consistent problem of like not being able to jump really well through the second turn of the game. Why not put a good green 2-drop that interacts with lands?
All right, so we're seeing the fabled turn 1 amulet in the aforementioned Amulet Titan deck.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder if this single green source out of Z's deck is specifically just to use the Haywire Might.
That would make sense. I mean, that's a really good ability to have access to. We're seeing Svi again get aggressive, make tokens, excel, like develop his board with lands and creatures. And Justin, it's kind of like playing gin rummy. Once you have the cards, you just lay them on the table.
Now, what's easy is most likely going to do here is end of turn, flash and Philia. Untap, Boy Orchid Phantom, blow up that land, attack, flicker it, blow up that one.
And this is the power of sideboard cards. When you have cards that work favorably in a matchup, Justin has good cards and bad cards in his deck. The bad, quote-unquote bad cards are for specific matchups. And in those specific circumstances, they're great. But up against a sideboard card that's dedicated to stopping what you're doing.
Another important piece that I saw when Z was sideboarding is Wrathless guys in the sideboard, which I know feels so counterintuitive because you have these aggressive 1-drops. But right now might be one of the only ways to get out from under double Amulet, right? So it's important to know that you can take a little column A, a little column B, a little bit of non-bowing to just not die sometimes.
Yeah, I would 1,000% Pyroclasm my own board if it means I don't lose to my opponents.
Yeah. And now the untapping, here's the Philia. Who knows what could possibly happen here?
Ooh, we see a Witch Enchanter. Witch Enchanter?
Just Witch.
Just Witch Enchanter? My
Just Witch
brain
Enchant.
doesn't want to say the word.
Lush Portico. Yep.
We saw
Yeah, it's the literally Disenchant, Witch Enchant. It's that joke.
Oh, see.
Because it's designed by Amanda. Carmen Conflarence had that beautiful design of literally putting the words in the joke. It's like, no. It literally is the joke.
That's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. And we saw the Scryed at the top was an Orm's Chant.
Huge. Because he needs to make it through this turn first. And it looks like Justin's not a lot going on. Remember, Dub's Amulet puts in a lot of work real fast.
And sometimes, if you just have 1 bounce land, he has 6 mana next turn.
Correct.
Again, another example for like why Titan is such a powerful deck is they can go from 0 to hero, and I believe that was a Dryad. The border makes me think it's a Dryad.
I thought it was Scape Shift.
Oh, if it's Escape Shift, I think this game is definitely. Oh, looks like casting. Explore.
The RCQ promo one.
Beautiful. Has another land drop. So 2 land drops that have not been used so far this turn.
Yep.
Plays Beseiju naturally.
Straight up, no trigger, no move in. Crumbling Vestige here. Slightly better / slightly worse than Bounce Lands, depending on where you're playing it. Here it's going to make less mana, but it's just always an untapped green source, so we'll do what we can. Scape Shift. Boom. As V with the face-up letting you know, like, I would have been able to do something next turn, but with this happening here, understand Justin's going to do the same old song and dance from the turn previous. That is the difficulty, right? Literally just the Dubs Amulet putting in all of that hard work there in order to allow Justin to just rapid fire ahead there.
And if Titan was a 3-mana bird that's a 3/4 flyer that pseudo drew you cards, it would get banned. Nadu got banned. But for some reason, making infinite things, bouncing your entire board, and having infinite hasty Titans
Shoot.
is totally fine.
Dang, you're right.
What? I'm confused. Is it because it's 6 mana? Yeah, it's 6
Yeah,
mana.
That's literally the
Wait,
thing
but it's
holding
not.
it up,
We just
right?
we
Because it's not played enough for like the meta percentage to be an issue.
Yeah.
That makes sense. It's just it's interesting to look at it and see it like that and think about it like, what if this was Nadu? It would be banned. It's 3 more mana, so it's not playable in most decks. You need to do things like that, like have a double amulet, have a splunking, have Lotus Field. But at the end of the day, when they're comboing, it feels like Nadu.
Yeah.
Food for thought.
This stuff should have gone away a while ago. So I don't even have a grounds to stand on. And like you said, it somehow keeps getting fed toys.
And I love Titan. I'm one of those people who I like playing against busted decks. Like, nothing feels more magic to me than playing against something and going, whoa, that works like that? Like,
Sure.
that's beautiful.
It's very fun the first time.
1,000%. And I think that you either play, like, we saw Svi bring in his entire sideboard, and it still wasn't enough.
Right. And the thing is there are a lot of factors that go into it, right? It's like, oh, is that maybe a mulligan to have XYZ in the opening hand? Are you losing to the 12.5% chance or whatever, however the probability breaks down of Dub's Amulet like that? Like, there's so much that goes into it. And the hardest part is that's kind of, for a lot of people, the joy of playing a game like Magic is because it is Lord of the Rings meets chess meets every game on your phone, right? Like, the point of it is it does encapsulate all of these things. And another part that is maybe the real sticking point is X decision made on Y a turn can determine things way down the line. And this, a case like this of, is it the opening hand? Maybe that needed to be shipped. Did we need to surveil one card deeper because Chant is the only way to fight back? Did we leave Wrath the Skies on the sideboard? But boy, do we really need to bring that in. Should we have not played something on turn 1 so that we can continue to interact turn after turn? Like, that's the hardest part, is everything is compounding, right? And then the decision you make impacts the decision your opponent makes. Like, there's every little bit. It just keeps like rolling and rolling down the hill. That it's much easier to have that understanding when you get to the end of the game of like, oh, well, my opponent had double amulet and I died. That's what you're going to tell your friends, right? When you get up and you go talk to them, they're
1,000%.
like, oh, how'd your round go? It's like, they had double amulet and I died.
Yep.
And they're like, okay, well, what did you do? And you're like, well, I played Ocelot Pride and Tefelia into past turns. Like, well,
That's what happens.
Yeah.
It's the same thing if we would go back to Ad Nauseam a million years ago. They were like, oh, well, what happened? Well, you let your Ad Nauseam player untap, cast their Lotus, bloom from suspend, Ad
Yeah,
Nauseam,
right.
Angel's Grace, Lightning Storm. Like,
Yeah.
that you shouldn't have let them do that.
Right, and the hard part is like, oh, I didn't draw those cards, like blah blah. It's like, yeah, totally, got it. But that is the important part, that the joys of this game is not everything comes from one spot, one decision.
Yes.
It literally comes from like thing after thing after thing after thing.
And Justin had an awkward, start. He played amulets on turn 1 and 2. That part was fine, but his lands weren't super optimal. He didn't have Grazer into bounce land that he
You're
was
right.
then able to double amulet on turn 2. There were things that made it a little bit awkward for him. It's just when you get to that end point of the game, it's like, wait, this is they went from this is fine to this is not fine
Right.
very fast.
It's like if one of the cards in V's hand is Wrath the Skies instead of any of those other part,
Game
it's
over.
like slam land 3, X equals 1, like everything's gone. My opponent does nothing for the next like 6 turns. And those are games that the Felly in your hand or whatever are going to easily win, right? And so that is the importance, like, oh, this is so bad. It's like, yes, but also it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
And all of this to say that if it goes away, cool, no problem. Like, let it go. That's fine. But if it's going to stick around, which I mean it's been doing, it is at least worthwhile that sideboard cards like Consign, Wrath of the Skies, Orm's Chant are just good and are also good here. That's like the part that is so important, is you can see those same sideboard cards against across so many decks, and you do, right? Those same cards that are in this Bant Flicker deck are in the same sideboard of a Blue-White Control or a Goryo's deck or whatever. That's a different conversation of like, oh, everything's got this homogenous thing, but at least what is homogenous is good against the thing everyone doesn't like. So it's like, well, at least at a minimum, if we're all going to play these things and have it be good in 12 different matchups, at least it's also good in this one. Like, at least you don't have to bring just your anti-Titan cards, but instead you get to bring Consign's Wrath, Elish Norn's Orm's Chance, and be like, okay, got it.
And in Modern, there's a million ways you could die on turn 3 or 4. So, you know, it really isn't that bad if you think about it.
Yeah, I have Neoform in my backpack. You want to talk about Amulet Titan is a buy for that deck. like you know, there is always going to be, it's not rock, paper, scissors anymore, but it's like add 12 different things on the matrix, but they all eat each other.
Yep.
And the part that gets difficult is when the deck you like gets stuck right here and keeps getting eaten by the other thing. It's like
1000%.
totally. But at least the joys is playing something like a locals, you know, the joys of playing small Magic in small places is people play what they like. They bring what they want to do. People have a good time. If it was just all to win all the time, there'd be 12 Titan players out there. Instead, there's like 2 Titan players, right? It's like, that's a real important part is gaining the experience here. And maybe you do shave 1 or 2 extra sideboard cards to make your Titan matchup good because you know those 2 people come every time. Awesome. That's kind of the joys of playing locals, right?
Yeah. You get to tune, you get to hone in, and then when you go to the big tournaments, if the meta share is similar, you have an edge.
Yeah, right. If you just played against it so many times, then you're ready to play against it.
Yeah.
Speaking of big tournaments, there's a graphic for the structure for the 2026 NRG Championship Series. All right, big. So if folks are not aware that during the back half of the 2025 season, event got canceled, it had the availability for a partnership between the NRG Series and Daybreak to bring one sealed event in the back half of the season to get our last participant into NRG Champs. That was the beginning of this new future that we're looking at, where there are going to be overall, I believe, 8 tournaments that are going to happen during Season 1, but 4 of them are going to be allowed to be online events, and then 2 are two event weekends. Two, right? But this understanding that the in-person events are going to happen across all of these weekends, so there's going to be 4 in-person weeks and 4 online weeks, but they're all going to balance out to people have these opportunities to queue either from the joys and the comfort of their own home, most likely playing a lot of matches of limited, or if playing those constructed formats or even team formats are your kind of jam, those are going to be most likely those in-person events. So we already know for Season 1 that the in-person events are in Indianapolis, and then the other one I believe is the local here in the Chicagoland, whether it's Elmhurst or Mundelein. But those are going to be available pretty soon, but it's great because people are going to have opportunities to queue online. There's 24 players, again, just like the last structure, invite only and all these at $35,000 and still that Pro Tour invite on the line. But the big change is there aren't going to be as many of these in-person events, but instead there's going to be at least these 4 MTG Showdowns allow them to be limited base to play online to get those chances to queue for the NRG Champs that happens right here in this building. So the same place that these locals play week in and week out is the exact spot where that NRG Championship Series event happens at the end of the year. For the PT, for $35K for 24 of the most hardened players on the NRG Series in the year 2026.
It's amazing. It's going to be great, and I hope to see you there.
Oh yeah, there's going to be so much battling to do, and the in-person events are still worthwhile. They're going to be close-ish to Chicagoland area. That's always been the case for the NRG Series. But with all of that being said, we'll hope to see you at these events, but we'll hope to also see you as soon as possible for a beautiful round number 3 here from the Nerd Rage Gaming Home Store. Do not go anywhere. We'll see you all ASAP. Bye. everybody? Welcome to round number 4 here at the Nerd Rage Gaming Home Store, beautiful Buffalo Grove, Illinois. So sorry, folks, there is no round number 3. The in-house pupper gone wild, but everything is under control. But if you hear any barks, yips, or gnawing on bones, that's so we can bring this round number 4 to you. Our undefeated players, I'm Dom Stryker, joined by Jack. And it's game time down there. Ooh. Oh, yeah. Kercrunch, Kerblamski, off to the races. We'll get these names and info swapped ASAP, but we are ready for them to be jamming. Amulet Titan on our right side, left side, S-Bar Blink. Uh-oh, Amulet alert.
So turn 1 Saga plus Amulet is the ideal start for Justin.
That's turn 3 Dubs Amulet.
Kyle, starting on an MDFC, only has the other Godless Shrine, so theoretically, Kyle could reset, I believe, is it Philia non-land?
Yes, yeah.
So that
Huh,
Philia's not home.
Justin, hey, buddy. Hey.
Kyle's like, here's my dog.
Hey.
And doesn't hit a 3rd land drop, so I don't believe that he's able to play anything besides this Thoughtseize here. He has a Witch Enchanter and a Flicker Wisp, I think, if I can see that right.
I think this Thoughtseize is about to put the entire game on its back.
Yeah, I think so.
We need to look at Justin's hand and see all air and 1 gas.
And this is the issue, right? Like, sometimes you have a billion lands in your deck. What is it, 32 plus?
I think so.
So if you can hit the payoff, sometimes Titan doesn't have
Yeah,
anything.
take a peek, Kyle.
3 lands and Escape Shift?
Drop them on the table. Ruh-roh.
Escape Shift and Titan.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
and the TOS is in hand.
So he'll have all 4 amulets in play, but no bounce land and no Lotus Field.
Correct. The tippy the deck's got some work to do. Kyle is most likely going to be able to take a Titan here and then know for a fact kind of the full grip involving Escape Shift package, but currently no access to additional green. Kyle taking the Escape Shift as it is the cheaper card, so meaning if Justin is just going kind of all natural for a while, it's going to take a while to get to the Titan.
And the hardest thing about this is if you're looking at Justin, right, you kind of are incentivized to take the Escape Shift, but the issue is if he gets this Titan down, the game just ends.
Truthful, no doubt. The Urza Saga here looks like this is the motion of someone looking to float the mana before getting, the 4th amulet out of the deck. Really, the 2nd is when things are off for the races. The 4th is nonsensical, so it should be a good time here for Justin.
This is variance at its greatest, and if Justin has one other green sword, or if he has a tap land, it makes 4 mana.
Yeah, Crumbling Vestige would make 5, and that's exactly Titan. Bounce land to be plus that, Lotus Field to be plus that, so the big question is, Justin, what was that top card for you? This Odoar Pass.
And this is exactly what you want to see if you're Kyle.
And a 3rd lane at the top, very helpful for Kyle to start piecing the way back into this game. Impended Overlord. Felia gonna flicker this Overlord after the big reveal.
Riddler Solitude.
Oh yeah, what an exciting Riddler, but we need that Solitude.
Yeah, and in the future, with Emperor of Bones, you can just get that Quantum Riddler in play.
Mm-hmm. Felia going into the Rumble. Looks like doing the trick with the Overlord. And then that'll allow Kyle to go a +1 card revealed here from the bin. Looks like it's going to be Riddler, Wisp, or that Emperor Bones, or even this Teferi. Remember, this can pit non-avatar creatures and planeswalkers if Kyle really wants it.
So are you a fan of grabbing Teferi here to reset something if Justin's able to get something big in play, or do you just do what he did, which is take the Riddler?
So I think the only real incentive at this moment to grab a Teferi is if you have no white cards you want to pitch to your Solitude.
That's a good point.
That's kind of the most worthwhile, and we're seeing Justin passing it back here, not even playing out the TOS from hand. So understanding that because that is technically currently a tapped land, it is a kind of a super ritual built in there, but it's only for blue mana. So Justin passing the turn back to Kyle.
And no 2nd green.
Yeah,
Really?
that's the big kicker for Justin right now.
Really huge here.
Oh yeah.
Sees a Thoughtseize on top.
Yeah, take the other piece of interaction, and then you get to go to combat for 8. Untap, go to combat for 8. You just need to make it through this turn, Kyle.
Kind of sort of busted. And this is what we were talking about. Every deck in this format.
Well, there's a Titan, a Grazer, and the Analyst. Analyst is good in either zone, so we need to get this Titan out of here.
And Grazer just cast for value is fine. Just as long as you don't hit something crazy, we'll work with what we got.
So again, Kyle gets to attack here for exactly 8. Hope down to die, and attack for 8 again. That is the plan.
And with Solitude in hand, feels pretty confident, right?
Mm-hmm. Because even if the Arboreal Grazer comes down as a blocker, because it has 0 power when it gets solituded, Justin will remain at the same life total.
That's huge.
And then rumble on in. Get this Witch Enchanter. You want to get a land drop too while you're at it, Kyle? 2 fairies in the main deck. We're seeing a second one get milled over.
And it looks like the Riddler draw was just the normal 4th land, so with the option to just hard cast that next turn. The Witch Enchanter.
Yeah. The big question for Kyle is, am I dead or are you?
Is this Explore a Bounce land? Find out next time on, now.
Yeah, Dubs Thoughtseize here with a chance to win against quad Amulet of Vigor.
That's a Splunking. Not quite going to be good enough. It
Yep,
just
mana's
picks
gone.
it up.
there's no land to play off that Explorer, so that's game number 1 being quote unquote stolen by the Esper Blink deck. It's the power of Thoughtseize, right? Just being able to take a peek, take the goods. Justin was still a second green source away, but did everything you possibly could, getting almost close to the nuts of getting 4 Amulet of Vigors into play. But this Esper Blink deck just keeps taking game action, keeps drawing cards, looking at your hand, taking stuff away from you. And now Kyle's going to get more interactive pieces. So things like Wrath of the Skies could be options, Orum's Chance could be options, White Orchid Phantoms could be options. So we're starting to see the things that Kyle's taking out beautifully just face up sideboard. Shows just how much they're leaning forward, right? And, oh, there's the other half of the deck. Come on. And it's so funny that this, the black-white Blink deck for so long was just like trying to find a value card. Was like trying to do a little of this, do a little bit of that. You give them Quantum Ruler, and they just can do it all now.
Yeah, it's crazy. And we're seeing both Wrath of the Skies and Ashiok coming in from Kyle.
I love playing Ashiok because that is just an absolute like dagger to a Titan player, but it is so hard for them.
I love it because I have a friend who told me that Lithomantic Barrage is his only out to it, so I wanted to play it, and I was playing it for a while, and it's like every time I play against Lithomantic, it just happens to be in their hand, and that's the only way that deck can deal with it. They can auto-arrow it back to your hand,
Yeah.
and they can Lithomantic Barrage it.
Yeah, but if you're Kyle's deck, and then you go through all that effort, and then I overload and I pick it back up, and I replay it, it being a walker just means the engine overall can find it more frequently. That playing it in these Blink style shells really gives you like a 1 or 2 sideboard card that really means you don't lose this matchup because you're already so good in grinding against anything else that's mid range.
Yeah, the War of the Spark Planeswalkers having a static and a minus, and if both of them are playable in a sideboard, that's insane.
And the joy is, not only does Ashiok have the your opponents can't search, but when you do the mill and then exile the yard, because Titan has so many intricate one-ofs, you just remove so many puzzles from the board. It's like, oh, you no longer have access to haste at all. You no longer have access to Laria West. Oops, I got rid of your green creature. Oh, I got rid of the one that brings back all your lands. It's like, well, time to play a different game.
Yeah, it's like, this is pod racing.
Right. Yeah, I've been a big fan of playing Ashiok. I remember the last NRG that I played it at, and I literally played it against my Titan opponent. They went, wow, you really didn't want to lose to Titan, huh? And I went, correct. That is what they're here for. That is their job. There have been other matchups that I've thought about it or brought it in, and the answer is probably wrong. It is just for taking down Titan.
Yeah, and it does a really good job of that. Hopefully we'll see that in Game 3. Justin on the play for this one. If you're Justin, what are you looking to bring in against Esper Blink? Is it the same thing that we saw in the last time we saw Justin play, which is just bring in Fire Magic and just say, I'm going to wipe your board?
It's hard because less of the stuff here can die, so you'll get to tag Flicker Wisp. You'll maybe get to tag Ophelia. That's like, it's not as good here. It is like I don't know.
No, that's fair. That's totally fair. And as you were saying, everything is nuanced, right? So it's like, it's going to be different from match, like player to player, build to build.
Yeah. Like, I think it's more Justin needs to bring in, like, the grindier sideboard cards because there's going to be a long game to play. I think we see something like a Dismember here in hand, which makes sense, right? This kills a lot of these even bigger stuff that needs to be dealt with. So it'll be interesting. A lot of post game for Titan is sometimes really taking your time and just slowly work through interactive piece 1, work through interactive piece 2. Sometimes you just attack with a 6/6. Like, it's so hard because there's just a lot of game to be played. That this is another spot that if you have any grindy cards in your board, again, something like a stock up or whatever, like it just helps us slowly play a normal game. But it seems at minimum Justin may have brought in these Dismembers to try to deal with these bigger bodied creatures.
Yeah, and like you were saying earlier, like Ashiok shuts the deck down, but if you just get a Colossal Dreadmaw in play and somehow
Right.
haven't died by turn 6, you can start losing to that.
This is Kyle with an incredibly quick mull down to 5.
Maybe that was no lands. I know this deck for a while was playing like 18, 20 lands.
Yeah, it's not that best land count. Because you have the MDFC creatures that can, kind of slot in a little, but kind of not at the same time if you're trying to move them and flicker them from zone to zone. But also, Kyle might just be kind of aggressively trying to get, like, if you get 3 lands, Ashiok Thoughtseize, like, sign me up, right?
Yeah.
So, could also just be aggro mulling to make sure you get the good hand, not just an okay hand.
Looking for a Wrath of the Skies, or as we see here, a White Orchid Phantom.
Yeah, like, you need 1 to 2 interactive pieces or it's just not going to happen. This hand looks just like lands Witch Enchanter Felia.
Tough.
And
Oh, I see an Overlord.
And an Overlord, right. But Kyle's going to be on the draw. So this means, from what we can see, Justin has 3 turns where Kyle's not doing anything to him.
And if we know anything about this Titan deck, is that's a lot of time.
Yep. Okay, is that a snap keep or a quick look? Okay, yep. Land gone for sure. Your hand is full of those. It's going to Justin to Odawara, 2 drops, so most likely explore. Just move through the deck, put your lands into play. Growth Chamber, 2 mana, pick up the Odawara. Just continue to work through the machine, passing it back to Kyle here.
And that was only 1 land drop played this turn, I believe.
So Justin started with his natural land drop, played Explore, got his extra.
Thank you.
So now we have Justin untapping with availability to at least face up 4 mana. Saga here unlocking that 4th piece. Kyle here looks likely, I'd imagine, getting Hollowed Fountain and then playing this Felia. Come on. Come on, Kyle.
Justin
Come on, Kyle.
with 4 mana
Let's
up,
go.
ready to just immediately bounce the Felia, or is there a world where you bounce the Overlord?
Huh. Interesting thought, right? It's nice to see, we've seen Justin play very stoically but very competently through Titan, just picking up the Odawara so that he can make that decision, right? Of just being like, whichever of the things you're trying to do to me, I just spend the end of my turn making you pick it up, and then maybe I'll untap and do my stuff, right? So, as I'm talking about post-board games, Titan kind of just like slowly moves through it sometimes. Just like building up, interacting a little, because I think even post-board, there are just not a lot of decks that can keep up with the raw power.
Ooh, milling the Ashiok is not where you want it to be, but you get the Solitude.
I'm about to put the Ashiok into my hand. What do you? I'm about.
Oh, it can grab Planeswalkers.
Yes, that's the good.
It can grab Planeswalkers.
Because this is a big signal to Justin that says, like, you need to win. You need to
Wow.
win soon. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Interesting.
Oh, jeez.
Very interesting.
Oh, jeez, OPs.
Oh, geez, Rick.
Well, this means the Ashiok is trapped in the yard because it was not chosen off that.
Whereas you could have grabbed the Solitude the following turn, but he doesn't know that Justin doesn't have the win in his hand.
All right.
We don't even know if Justin has the win in his
Yeah,
hand.
big rips. It all starts with a second green source and then being able to go off to the races. Or doesn't, has the 2 green sources, so just needs something to generate an additional piece of mana. Oh, I see you. Direct perpendicular. Don't let me see any of this. Growth Chamber, untap, float green, pick her up. Sure looks like 6 mana to me. Kyle's leaving the same thing. Here comes the Teton. And Kyle's hand is white card, Ephemerate, Solitude. So can at least interact to the best of our abilities, but Justin does get this trigger no matter what.
Now, what's the right time to interact if you have the Solitude?
Okay.
As late as possible.
Yeah, I mean, Haviv was right. Like there is a waiting game to it. It's like as late as possible, but the answer to when is as late as possible is the part that you kind of also figure out along the way. So we're seeing Justin here is getting exact man to get blue, blue, green and pick up the Teleria West. Which
I'm a really big fan of hitting in response to the mirror pool copying the second Titan. The issue is by that time they already have 2 Titans in play.
Hmm.
Because at least you fizzle 1 trigger and then they've wasted the lands that they grab. But
Well,
the
if you do
issue
in
is
response to the mirror pool, they have no Titan.
well, they're going to Teleria West for the second one.
Yeah, this is the importance is where Justin goes with this.
Yes.
Because dependent on what Justin is up to, this will most likely happen next turn. But this is kind of the parts of it being a sideboard game is there's like a partial chance that Justin might get more normal, streamlined, like interactive piece, and then just start paying the mana for things because this Titan's going to continue to just make so much mana.
Yeah, it's fair.
And because Kyle has a Solitude to go, an Ephemerate to go with the Solitude, is kind of choosing this as the point of interaction. And the question is, do we keep the Solitude around to have something?
So,
The question is no.
and he just passes with after grabbing the Summoner's Pact. Fair, fair.
Right, because Justin can't do anything else. That was the remainder of his mana and his actions for that turn, but allows him to go again next turn. That's a Riddler. So, card draw here for Kyle, with only 1 card in hand, which is going to net a Wrath of the Skies, which is going to help Kyle next turn, because Justin will get second Amulet, and then we'll Pact for Titan, and then try to go off, and if Kyle someone doesn't die through all of that, then we'll be able to use the Wrath of the Skies, but it's just 1 turn too late, 1 card too deep.
Yeah, if he was able to get this other land in his hand down, he already played his land, but if he was able to get it down, then he would have been able to go X's 1 and hit the entire board, but that doesn't really
Right, yeah,
do
it's
much
like
here.
it's like 1 moment off for everything.
Yeah, it's so close yet so far.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this Riddler's getting ephemerated.
Oh, yeah. Thankfully, Kyle held on to that instead of trying to get the active Solitude going, because then you have this opportunity to continue to churn a little bit through the cards in deck. Possibly on the hunt for another white card Solitude, but the outs are getting slimmer and slimmer.
Yeah, and as we get to the late game, all these big haymakers, Justin has an active Urza's Saga. Even if he just wants to play it very slow, he can just make a construct, go to his next turn, make another construct. But none of that's going to happen. He's going to kill just the Urza Saga to take a land off the field and take away an amulet.
Yeah, it deals with an amulet.
Yeah. And sometimes putting your opponent down 1 mana might be worth it if he didn't draw a what's it called? The Gruul bounce land.
Yeah, Justin already with 6
Gruul
mana
Turf.
in play. It's going to allow the number to be exponential, right?
Oh, those are all bounce lands. Jeez.
As he goes Titan, Titan can allow you at minimum red source haste, and then you can at least have this kind of the old school style of just, oh, what if I'm attacking? This is why I always, and I know it's probably not correct, but my Titan deck just always has a copy of Kessig Wolfrun, because you just get these very normal games like this. Sometimes you just make a big, big, beefy Titan.
One of my favorite games of all time, my brother was playing Tooth and Nail. Arbor Elf Utopia Sprawl Overgrowth. Turn 3, cast a Tooth and Nail Entwined. Exynos Emrakul. 30 in the air, flying haste, Annihilator 6, turn 3. But the backup plan to that deck was you play Inferno Titan with Kessig Wolfrun.
Oh yeah, just kill him. Just get him dead, right?
And that was back when Burn was good, and he actually beat one of the better pilots at our LGS with Tooth and Nail versus Burn. Somehow the Burn player drew 5 lands in a row, and
I see. Yeah.
Cole was able to get the Inferno Titan down, fire breathe it enough, and literally win the game with an Inferno Titan. And burning the Burn player is one of my favorite memories, and that's because of Kessig.
So Justin here grabbing Mirror Pool and Crumbling Vestige. Importantly, has not played their land per turn. This is like a big signaling to me that Justin must have a way, most likely a Lotus Field in hand, allow him to get to exactly 5 mana, and then Mirror Pool this Titan. to try to put as much pressure in play as possible. Oh, but it's the natural Hanweir. So the issue is it was in hand, and Vestige has access to red mana. So now this is hasting up on the Titan. Rumbling with the Titan, Titan trigger. Dun, dun, dun. So now the mirror pool is here. And now we're in the midst of combat, and we're going to see just how long this attacking Titan is just sitting here, waiting here. There's a real-ish chance that it never gets to deal its combat damage.
It's true. Once these lands enter, the mirror pool could copy the Titan, causing a new chain of ETBs to happen, which then can happen again and again and again, because Echoing Deeps and what's the other land that copies? Vesuva. Can just cause him to... Oh, but he's going for the mana plan.
Yeah, well, he got a Vesuva in there to copy one of the bounce lands to get just enough to mirror pull this Titan.
Beautiful.
What Justin is also doing here is just accumulating raw, actual, factual mana, right? Of just having actual lands in play, not just like a single Lotus Field, but having as much raw mana as possible, not sacking any lands, but just continuing to build up. This is how, if anything happens to this Titan, this is how you end up being able to get more, is actually just having the raw resources in play.
Looking at an Urza Saga here for the same reason. The best mid-range plan that the deck has is just make constructs. We also see Vexing Bauble if there was respect being paid to a Solitude, but
Yeah, if Justin even wanted, you could get Bounce Land Beside You and blow up the Overlord and just take away everything Kyle's up to. A lot of different ways to manipulate through this. What's honestly important for Justin is that there are just 2 6/6s.
yeah,
The 6/6 tramples are in play.
it's a 2-turn clock as is.
We're getting Shifting Woodland Urza's Cave.
And he's just going to set up for next turn and pass.
Deal your 6 damage, put you to 10. Next turn, I'm going to try to do these things all over again, and I just have these 6/6s. How do you feel? If Kyle's hand is land ephemerate. Dunzo, game 3 situation. Again, you saw the Titan deck there didn't really do a lot of amuleting, but just classic Magic of just like casting your spells, making my land drops, playing my big guy to get more lands, just to make the one copy. Like, you don't have to go infinite. You can't just go enough, right? You can just do your little things piece by piece by piece to put it all together.
And pass just to see if Justin would forget to pay for Pact. But remember when missing your Pact trigger was an automatic loss?
Yeah, I remember.
Back in those days.
It's
Goes on stack now
yeah.
You can actually choose to put it on the stack
yourself.
when you want. So you can wait for them to cast a spell and then put it on the stack.
That's the scummy way.
That is the scummy way.
The real answer is when noticed.
Yeah.
But the scummy thing is not noticing.
Yeah.
Until it's convenient for you.
Yeah, like, oh, right, good point. Let me pay for that now.
And you'll find some players who just, if you just remind them they've missed their Pact trigger, they will just concede because that's how it used to be. And
Oh,
you become
the old
conditioned.
ways.
You become conditioned after a while.
Yeah, I just have the pack zone. Like, I cast my packs, they go to a very specific spot.
Very
That
smart.
I see them at all time.
Very smart.
That it's just there.
You're like, this is in the graveyard, but this is here to remind me.
Yeah. I literally always say when I cast like the first pact, I'm like, I'm gonna put this here so that we both remember that I have a pact trigger, and opponents just go, yup. Because there's nothing better than like clarity of play for the sake of like both players.
Yeah. It's like Bauble, it's like Ephemerate, it's like Pact. It's like we all need to remember this.
And if I put this right here, you remember that I get time walked for 4 mana next turn.
It's crazy.
Well, Justin. A turn 1 Saga, put a little counter on it, play a little amulet. Sure. Kyle with a natty Ashiok in hand, so we'll see how great this is going to go.
Now, if Kyle shocked that Hollowed Fountain in turn 1, what is he respecting?
Casting failure.
He shocked in the Hollowed Fountain turn 1. Maybe you want to have the white source in play to represent Consign.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Because it'd be like Consign, Ephemerates, Path.
Like I know there's a reason. I'm not seeing it.
Yeah.
There probably is from his perspective. Even if it's just as subtle as bluffing, maybe you get Justin not to play his amulet, but like you said earlier, you got to make your opponent have it.
Yeah, so Kyle here is going to Solitude this 6, untap play land, Wrath of Skies for 1, take the Saga and the Amulet, and then figure it out later. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. The 2 life is not important. 1,000%.
Great.
Is there a
This
second white source?
It's this draw is specifically Bogart Trawler.
But that does let you cast the Ashiok.
Correct. So that's going to release Kyle to remain playing this game. But it does mean that Justin will use the Saga, get the second Amulet, and might be able to do things based on what's in hand.
Do you minus the Ashiok
Yes.
mill and then blink it?
Yes, please, and then blink it. Those are gone forever.
I like 6 as some tech. 6 is pretty cool, honestly.
Yeah, 6 is awesome. It's really cool to see 6 in like older decks where it goes like really, really hard. This is just specifically a really good grinding engine for the Titan Shell.
I remember playing against George Jabor, who kept looping his 1 rings with 6.
Yup. Yeah.
He's like, I can cast this ring and this ring and this ring, and I beat him. He locked me by recycling dress downs and 1 rings for 17 turns in a row, and I decked him because he was drawing cards off the 1 ring and dress down. It was nasty. Legacy Goblins, nasty.
I can only do nothing for so long. All right, Kyle, white source. Well, time to click the button on the Ashiok, flicker it with the Threlia. Just keep moving and grooving. We started with this basic swamp, right? We didn't search for it. This isn't Kyle's fault.
Yes.
Okay, good. Ding.
Fetch land.
Fires are done. Crunch. Flick. No Ashiok activation.
So did the first attack not deal damage? I think Justin should be at 14, but
15. Yeah.
15, yeah. Well, I'm also interested in why no downtick from the Ashiok. I guess you don't want to risk it dying to something.
I think it is just getting so zeroed in on play card, flicker card that you
Fair.
forget you have other game action.
Well, and there's so much card advantage. He's
It's-
looking at so many cards.
It's from the intensive amounts of game actions.
This is also the final round.
Yeah, it's easy to leave 1 on the table.
1,000%.
You know, it's almost 10 o'clock at night on a work day.
Yep. These players are real warriors, modern warriors. We salute them. Goblin
Right.
salute.
The hardest battles, my Esper Wink versus Amulet Titan. A little surveil action here. Kyle looks at it so quickly that it always looks like a snap keep, but it's just a look. Kyle doesn't want to look at it for too long.
He's like, I can immediately process what that card is, but then it takes me time to process what
Yeah.
that card is with my cards.
Yeah, it's never a snap keep, but it is a snap look. Consign, banger. And it looks like Justin, with the counter on the Echoing Deep in play, looks like had copied the Urza Saga, which means Kyle can still get kind of the 2-for-1 out of that Wrath of Skies. Now we get access to that second piece of white mana. Oh, duh. Thank you, chat. The Solitude on the 6, the 2 extra life gain, so that negated that 1 combat.
Thank you.
That's why everything looks the way that it does. Bingo, bango, bongo. Thank you so very much. Boom. Wrath of Skies for 2. I'd like to have the Urza Saga and the Amulet, please. See, and the Rats for 1 are what are really great in this Esper Blink deck, because there ain't any 1 sitting around, right?
Yeah.
So it allows it to just be very cleanly just your opponent's things. Now Kyle with a real clock in play, doing a lot of damage to what Justin has. And now, that plan that we saw in Game 2 of just trying to take like normal classic game actions, Justin doesn't have the time because Kyle has pressure to go along with it. Like we're looking at 8 damage in play, Justin will be living on a prayer and a 1 single point of life.
And if he draws Amulet, Scape, and has land plus Scape Shift, does he get there?
Ashiok says no.
Oh, I got tunnel vision.
She just sits there.
And we're seeing the power of this Blink deck. You're
Yeah.
drawing so many cards.
Kyle, no. Okay, you've got the shrine. You want to hold up this consigned memory, and I think it's just in the bag.
1,000%.
But now I guess you also play this Overlord on top of all of that. Take a look. Emperor Bones, no other options. And now again, Kyle attacking in. 4 from the Riddler, 4 from the Felia. Besiege you on the Overlord in response to the Blink. Let Kyle get a little bit of ramp out of this aggressive action. Get an untapped land. Get an untapped land. Because then you can replicate your consign just in case.
But but a surveil land is half a card.
Yeah, the value. Alrighty. Pass the turn back. I'm feeling real good. I'm feeling real safe. Kyle sitting behind his Ashiok with a consign in hand. A little surveil. 2 lethal attackers in play. Justin. I'm expecting the hand to just flop on the table.
What does it start with, if there is a card?
Like, I guess. Like, this is spending the whole turn on this Spelunky game action. Okay. All right.
Hand work out.
Oh, okay.
And hand. Respect.
Right. Do the most you can. Figure out the most you can. Truly, Ashiok is like the surgical knife. If you just want to take care of the local Titan that has been bothering you or whatever, I promise you, Ashiok puts in absolute work. And if you have a deck that moves through itself or plays the Black Overlord, it is most likely very worthwhile. If you're like, dang nabbit, I just can't beat these Titan players. Put some Thoughtseizes, put some pressure, put some Ashiok, and it'll happen real quick for you.
Yeah, it definitely is a combo deck, and combo decks are weak. They're very fragile. If you can just hit them in their very key points, the deck falls apart sometimes.
Yeah, and thankfully, I think tale as old as time. One of the best things is just bring a Thoughtseize. Like whatever's going on, there's something about just the safety net that comes with having that card. Just slam it down, take a peek, take care of whatever the problem is, and move through it. Right. So, and again, we talked about this in the previous round about. If you're going to have trouble with these Titans, you can see things like Consigned. You can see things like Wrath of the Skies. We're seeing the same sideboard that we were seeing in the other decks. Again, at least if we are going to have all these tools try to take down the Menace, at least they're really good tools, at least they're universal tools that can be used literally across all these different types of decks. This one doesn't have to take out its own Ocelot Prize. Instead, it's truly just take care of your problems and leave all of mine behind.
Yeah, beautiful games.
The beautiful game. Folks, if you want to get any more Magic the Gathering cards for yourself to play at any of these events, you can stop by nerdragegaming.com to pick up your Magic the Gathering singles. If you're on the hunt for foils or any of the other games that are offered and sponsored and played at Nerd Rage Gaming, you can find them at nrg.tcgplayerpro.com. Get some Pokemon, get some One Piece, get some Riftbound, get some Yu-Gi-Oh! Whatever you got, you were able to find it. There's so many games happening around here. You're looking at a Classic Wednesday here. I mean, even this graphic needs to be updated. There's 4 different games going out there. They got Mario out there. They got Riftbound out there. They got Gundam out there. I swear I saw people playing stuff I had never seen before out there. There might be some One Piece. People are gaming at the Nerd Rage Gaming home store. Thursdays they play EDH and Pokemon. Fridays the Boomer Zoomer Legacy Standard Night, as well as that One Piece support. Saturday into Mondays got Digimon sponsored and suggested there with that Elder Dragon Highlander EDH Commander. And Tuesdays One Piece Lorcana and more. There are so many games being added. Nerd Rage Gaming trying to support as many of them as possible. You can find them on that TCG Player Pro store. You can find them being played here in store. Give us a quick call. Be like, hey, I really want to play X game. What day are things happening? Who's showing up? What's going on? They'll be able to let you know. They'll be able to chime in. They'll be able to help you to get that support. With all that being said, tune in next week. We're going to do all that we can to be moving and grooving, showing up, being here on Wednesdays, 6:30, Nerd Rage Gaming, Buffalo Grove Home Store, right here to get our game on. Thank you all so very much for joining us. I've been Dom Striker. That has been Jack. And we'll see you all next time. Bye.
Peace.